Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Half a Nice Day podcast with your host, Joshua.
And Janine.
And today, we are joined by the very talented and funny Abz Ali. Give it up for him.
Thank you, guys. What an honor to be here. My favorite podcast.
Yeah.
Really?
I say that to every podcast I've been. No, but this is probably my favorite. Like, so far, the setup is beautiful. By the way, congratulations on the new apartment
Thank you.
that Joshua is not staying in.
Exactly.
See, thank you guys.
Yeah, just in
for
case.
all the.
I mean, at least you have the studio, right? For now.
Yeah.
I have this studio and I have my office.
Yeah, you should keep the studio as the doghouse whenever you want to kick him out. It's like, I'll
Exactly.
send you back to the studio. It's like,
Exactly.
It's
I'm gonna get an
lock me up there.
inflatable
yeah.
like sofa bed thingy.
That
Yeah.
is something that we actually wanted.
Yeah.
We
I
wanted to
wanted
make
it
this
for
a
two
guest
reasons.
room.
No,
And she's like, take
what?
only half, Josh, because we need to make this part like in case we have guests and people want to stay over, like our family. There's nothing there, as you can
no
see.
one's gonna stay with you guys, with all due respect. Like,
And there's like 600 hotels in this area.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and I'd feel uncomfortable. It's like, oh, these guys just, moved in together. I don't want to
Yeah.
stay there.
see, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. No, I'll just hold it.
So Abs, you're not allowed to stay here then.
Thank you so much. I'll just go to
Sorry
my mom's
for making
house.
you come all the way from Abu Dhabi and
Don't
we're not offering you a
apologize.
place to stay. So.
It's okay. My mom's house is close by anyways.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say there.
Yeah.
In case
Yeah.
Someone comes with a knife. Hi,
Yeah.
auntie.
your Abs' mom.
I
huh?
love
Right
you.
on.
It stalks Abs.
Yeah, no thanks.
You wanna let Abs introduce himself?
No wait, I wasn't done.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Like you started talking and
No, sorry, my
No.
ADHD. Sorry, my guys.
Okay, so today we are joined by the talented and funny Abz Ali. He is half Bahraini and half Emirati. I still have Omani here. So.
Okay. It is Omani. It is Omani.
It is Omani?
Yeah, it's half Omani.
Wait, you told me Omani a while
Yeah,
ago?
I
Yes.
did. I
Oh,
did.
yeah,
You
yeah.
said
sorry.
Bahraini. He said Omani.
Yeah, I love how she
So
said
I did
Bahraini.
change it. And I'm like, oh, it's
Yeah.
not Omani.
No. I'll be Bahraini for...
He is half
For the
Omani and
podcast.
half Emirati, and the first Emirati stand-up comedian. The source is from his Instagram,
Yeah. I like, don't shoot me. He said it. He said
I'm
it.
quoting
his
from
Wikipedia
Instagram.
page.
Yeah.
He's also the first Emirati comedian. He's also a dentist, a mental health advocate, and he has a leading role in Netflix hit series You.
I wish. Oh,
Give it
my
up for
God.
one more time for Abz Ali.
Thank you so much. Oh, what a
You
beautiful
look
intro.
exactly like Joe, by
I
the way.
don't see it, honestly.
Look
Do you
I
get that a
actually
lot though? 'Cause
No, so I use it now as a pickup line. I'm just like, do you like that show You? And it's like, yeah. I'm like, I've been told it looks like Joe. And Anand one time, oh my God, this was like, I think during the second season. And Anand was on a Tinder date with someone back in the day. And then he told this girl, he's like, I got a comedy show. She's like, I don't know. There's a guy who looks like Joe from You. She's like, oh, I like him. And
I'll
it's like,
definitely come.
yeah. And it's like, oh, Mr. Steal Your Girl is here. Like,
exactly.
yeah.
Like, isn't he supposed to be bringing this girl there for his own benefit?
No, he said the golden rule of comedy is you never bring a girl you like to a show because you're gonna eat crap on
Okay.
stage.
You know, I totally agree with that. Like, I joined, actually, the way I got into comedy was to impress a girl. It never worked out, and I stopped it. And then Ima, she's like, oh, a Filipino comedian, let me groom him.
Let me groom him.
I'm like, okay.
It's like she just gives you a mop.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Like, it's all the hard work. Don't worry, it's like a Mr. Miyagi thing. You know, like, this mop will help you be funny on stage.
It's
I'm
like, why are you
okay.
getting paid for me mopping this stage? It's like, this is where I work, kabayan. Oh man.
Yeah, then,
So-
so I didn't want to do it until she forced me, and she's like, I'll give you 2 minutes. It's actually how I met Abs as well, so I'll get to it. So she's like, I'm arranging 2 minutes for you at a show for Comic On.
Oh yeah.
And this was in a bar in...
Well, it's like Novotel or
Yes,
some
exactly.
Ibis.
Yeah.
It's one of
And
That was
those
like 2-3 years ago.
Probably
No,
3
yeah,
years
when
ago.
3 years ago. I think.
2018,
Yeah,
19, I
2018, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I did Dubomedy in July, and then I stopped, and then I think I did the show in November or December.
Did you, sorry to interrupt, but did you join them because the girl was there, or you're like, oh, I should do stand up to impress?
No,
Sorry,
so
I feel like I'm putting him in hot water.
No.
He's
I
like,
love
no.
this story.
It's the funniest story. I'm actually writing a joke about it. I just didn't know how to end it.
Yeah.
But I did comedy because the girl I liked, she was cabin crew, so of course, I was like head over heels for her.
Literally.
And so she was a big fan of comedy, and I took her to a Dubomedy show. But in my mind, I'm like, and I see comedians, I'm like, I'm funnier than these guys.
Wow.
In
look
my
at
mind,
this
and I'm like,
guy.
you know what? And she's having a time of her life.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I met Ima as well. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should do comedy and impress her.
You got jealous.
Yeah, I got jealous
Yeah,
because she's laughing at everyone. I'm like,
I'm funny.
I'm funny. Like
Yeah.
I'm right here beside you. Like
Funnier.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I did a whole course, but in the time I was doing the course, we had a fallout kind of thing, and come show day, I just sent her a message like, "Hey, I know we haven't spoken in a while, but I'm gonna get up on stage today." I did,
Wow,
yeah.
man.
And I bombed, man. And can you imagine bombing at the Dubomedy mixtape, where everyone comes to support each other? I brought like 20 colleagues,
Damn.
and I bombed. And people, and my opening joke was like, something like, you know, like I don't care about this girl, but I wrote a joke about her.
My God.
And I said it in a way, and everyone thought I was gonna propose for some reason.
Oh,
like
no
all my colleagues
way.
messaged me the next day, and you know what? Like when you did the show, I thought you were gonna propose.
Wow.
I'm like, so it was such a bad night. I cried.
You
the
should
whole
have
night.
just made it worse. You're like, it can't get worse than this. And then you propose. You're like, nah.
I don't have a
topped
ring,
it.
but
Yeah.
at least let me win
I made
everyone
it.
back.
I made it worse. Oh my God. But
Yeah.
I feel that pain. I know that pain that you have. You're like, I'm going to prove to the world I can do it. And because like it's, I don't know, it comes from like a place of not being bullied, but you're just like, I'm better. I can prove to the world. And maybe as well as being halfies as well. It's a different
So I
thing.
hear this exactly because I'm born and raised in Dubai.
Hmm.
And every time I go back to like Philippines or India, like everyone thinks like I see a cockroach and I get scared, which is
I mean, yeah.
like even a small
What a-
cockroach and I get scared. And,
Okay, you
and
don't have,
everyone-
you're selling yourself. You're digging yourself a hole here.
I'm like
Right.
digging it.
You
even
could have
further.
made it like a huge cockroach with like tentacles, and I'll be like,
like
okay,
a man eating cockroach.
yeah. I'll be like, okay,
But yeah, everyone started calling me soft, and you know, like all these things,
Yeah.
like like we use our hands and we work, and like
Yeah.
I'm sitting in a computer, and yeah, so it's like it's all these kinds of things. So I always wanted to prove myself. That's why I got tattoos actually, because no one believed I could.
really,
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
There's
I never
so
told. I
much-
don't think I've ever said this on the podcast. Yeah, but that was the one reason I'm like I would look cooler. People be like, Josh got a tattoo.
But when was the first time? What age were you when you first got a tattoo?
24.
Which one was it?
The big one. This one.
Wow, you went all out.
I went
man.
all out. Even the tattoo artist was like, "Are you sure you want to get such a big one for your
Yeah,
first one?" And made me sign a consent form.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
and
like,
you're like,
what?
I can do this. And then you take a course and you do tattoos.
He's powered by that.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're fueled by like.
Yeah, I think
sadness.
just middle child syndrome, all these kinds of things.
But-
Like wanting attention, spotlight, all that stuff.
But do you ever regret doing choices because of that? Like, I mean, you don't regret the tattoos because I can see you're inked up to
yeah, no,
for
that
days.
I don't regret. But
and the comedy.
yeah,
You don't regret that.
No, no.
Okay, that's good.
How about
I-
you?
But there's other. It feels like no. I'm doing a therapy session here with Josh.
Yeah, like, can we stop and just
Yeah.
end this conversation?
Yeah. Do you want some tissues? I think you left some in your
Shall I
office.
leave?
In his office.
Like you can excuse
It's
yourself.
like there's pictures of like other comedians and a tissue there.
I
I'm
know,
like,
right?
I'm like, what the hell?
That tissue box was never there until today.
uh-huh, sure. Whatever.
And
No,
it's
but
not just one. He covered the whole wall
yeah.
with like pictures.
She was
If I
so
came with a black light, I'd be like, hey, this paint is thinning out. Why does it smell like
Why is
eggs?
there a lot of white paint back on the
Yeah.
wall? Like,
Oh, this is very artistic motif. My mom's an art teacher. I know this stuff. It's very
abstract.
yeah.
All that stuff.
Yeah, it reminds me of Van Gogh. But
But you know, you're the reason why I still pursued comedy after that. You're one of the
Really?
few people who actually
No
kept
way.
me going. I don't know if you know this story.
Janine's
No.
like, what about me?
Yeah, I'm like, dude.
Hello?
Dude, we're doing a podcast.
I think you told me once. Yes.
What
I
was-
remember.
Because
Yeah.
that's the first day I met you. I remember he came in a Kandora
Mhm.
in this show, and
Yeah.
I only did 2 minutes,
Right.
Yeah.
and I was rehearsing my lines for like the last like 2 weeks just for a 2-minute set.
This was a Comic-Con. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's the first time I met Abz, and he came in a Kandura, and I was like, oh shoot, there's CID. And apparently he wasn't allowed to enter this bar with a Kandura.
Yeah, it was
And
so
he
trippy
disappeared for the longest time, like for like
to change.
Yeah, to change, and he came back in like camouflage
I call it
clothes or
Western.
something.
I call it Western clothes, or sometimes I call it peasant clothing.
Yeah.
because it's what
Do you
you
still
guys.
get that now? Like,
Yeah,
are you still not allowed
it's
to
so
get into?
annoying.
No, a few
Janine.
selected bars, right?
Yeah, but it's like like even the comedy festival. I was like, can I perform in Kandora? Like, no Kandora. I'm like, it's the Dubai Comedy Festival. I'm
Yeah.
an Emirati. I want to represent.
Right.
No, but it's a bar, and it's like, you can hang by. I remember one place. What was it? Oh, it was clavichord. And
Uh-huh.
like that, I was like, can I wear Kandora? And my mom wears the hijab.
Hmm.
So I was like, can my mom come to the show? It's like, okay, you can come in a Kandora and hang out on the bar by the bar, but you can't be on stage. So I was like, I can be drunk by the bar in a Kandora, but I can't be sober on stage. And I don't drink.
Yeah.
So I'm like, But then somehow I think they allowed my mom. They pulled the wasta and they're like, your mom can come. So I'm like telling my mom like, you gotta order a drink, a non-alcoholic drink. Just pretend. And they let her in, thankfully. I don't know. It's the businesses are afraid, and I get it. They don't put the laws. The laws are from the country, but the law itself is something like desecrating the national image or something.
Right.
But there's places where they allow people in Kandoras and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen you on stage with the Kandora in some bars as well.
Yeah.
Kickers used to do it, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if there's a special license
Yeah.
for it.
Or I think it's maybe the image. Like we don't want to like ruin the image of the
I don't know.
the Emirati
It's
people.
weird though, because it's your choice. Like you get in, you want to wear your kandura. Like if you want to drink, you drink. If you don't want to drink, you don't want to drink. It's
Yeah, but I'm
choice,
there
I
really to
guess, yeah.
perform. Like
exactly.
and the Kandora, I think the problem is people confuse it as a religious attire. It's not. It's a cultural thing.
right.
Because even when I met Simi the first time, I was in a Kandora. He's like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting to meet a religious man." I was like, "This is my like everyday. Like this is nothing. Like I just came from I don't know home or something." It's like in South Africa, brah. I can't do the accent. South
Claims you can do
Africa.
20 accents, but not a
No,
South African.
it's so hard. It's so I can do a white South African. They're really annoying. They love to roll their ass. But Simi's not a white South African person, and it's like people go to Friday prayer in this. If they make a statement that they're going to Friday prayer, I'm like, I was like, that's not the case here.
Yeah.
You guys grew up here. You've seen people in
Yeah.
Jumeirah Road. You're not like the guy in the Kandora is flirting with me religiously.
Yeah,
He
true.
kind of is though.
What do you think about people who wear them who are not Emiratis or not from the
I
GCC?
like it. I like it because it's like it's a sign of like acceptance, and it's also like, hey, we like you guys. We want to be like you. The thing that I don't like is when they kind of wear it wrong, and it's not their fault. It's when they go to these safaris.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They dress them up in like, I don't know, like a rapper would dress up.
Yeah.
But it's not the right way. You know what I mean? It'd be nice if there was an Emirati or myself, and they're like, can you show me how to? And I'd do it
Right.
happily.
Yeah.
It's a sign like apparently in Andalusia in 1600. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to flex my
Some
brains
history,
here.
You
Yes,
know,
history.
just my-
learn something on this podcast.
There's a picture of Galileo, I think. Not a picture. They didn't exist in the 1600s. But there's like a drawing of Galileo, and he's dressed up in like Middle Eastern, south of Spain,
Robes.
Andalusia. Yeah, robes.
Yeah.
And this is apparently because a lot of the scientists came from the Muslim world, so they wanted to dress up as their role models.
Right.
And I'm not saying people are wearing Kandoras because we're their role models, but it's nice. Like I mean, like you guys were born and raised here, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have a Kandora?
No, I don't.
Would you like one? Legit.
I think you would look
Serious
cool.
question. I think
I
you'd
don't
look
know,
cool.
man. You know, okay, from your side now that you explained it, like for me, when I see non-Emiratis in the Kandora, I feel a little bit weird. But I think it's,
Why?
I don't know.
It shouldn't be.
I don't know.
If
Like I
you're
see
dressed-
now Russians are wearing Kanduras in
Yeah.
like malls, and I'm just like,
Yeah, but they put on sunglasses in a mall. You're
Yeah,
like, come
yeah,
on,
yeah.
like we used to do that in the early 2000s, but that phase is done.
That's done.
That's
It's
done.
out of fashion
It's
now.
out of fashion. Yeah, exactly.
But a
But
little
like,
bit behind.
yeah, but if you wanna,
I don't think I've ever even worn a Kandura.
yeah, if you ever wanna make one, man, I got a tailor. They're really good, nice, cheap, and it's fit to. Actually, I have to pick up my brother's Kandora now. I remembered. It's 150 dirhams. It's nice.
That's it?
Yeah, they come in different colors. This is the thing. You guys think I wear this not just to represent my culture, also because it's so easy. It's
Yeah,
just
and
like,
it's super comfortable, right?
yeah, pop it on, put on like sandals. I need to go to the washroom. Just, like,
Why did question though?
Hmm.
Why is it always like crisp? Like how do you keep it that crisp? Like
it's,
is there a special way of like
I just
washing
iron it.
it?
I don't really
Okay.
iron it myself, but like
Okay.
I'd have the cleaners iron it.
Yeah.
Or
Of
like,
course.
But
because I feel like they don't do anything. Like you guys sit, you drive with it, but it
Oh,
doesn't
no.
crease at all.
I
Like,
can't. But
it's
you
like
know,
magic.
when you go sit, so when you go sit in a car, you have to. If you've noticed, especially a lot of Emiratis have 4x4s, they
Yes.
stand up on the car, like the side, because they need to actually bring the bottom of the Kandora. They have to tuck it in because if they just go sit down like as if you have pants, it's gonna crease. But you have to actually flatten it and then sit down. Yeah,
there's
it's-
a way.
Yeah, there's also Kandora wipes as well. There's like these bleaching wipes that they sell in Carrefour. So I have them in my car. Because if you're having a white Kandora, the
Right.
tiniest stain is going to show, right?
True. Yeah.
So you get the wipe and you just... And I remember showing it to Sahar. She was crying of laughter. She couldn't believe it. She's
That
like,
is
take
I can't even believe that now.
Yeah, that's
It's like
the
one of
thing.
those Tide bends that you just
Kind
like,
of, yeah, like the Tide pants,
yes,
yeah.
you just rub it in and then
And it's specifically... There's also an abaya wipe, which I don't know how that works, but that's catered to it, yeah.
Oh.
It's
Yeah.
really just comfortable. Like, hey, I have a business meeting. I'll wear a Kandora. I have to go to work. I'll wear Kandora. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
no,
go
you
see
really don't have
family.
to like. It's like a uniform, you know. It's like a love-hate thing. Like, oh, at least I don't have to decide what I have to wear today. So
It's like your
No.
formal attire as well, right?
Yeah.
Like
And it's
you-
not ugly.
Yeah,
It's not like I'm in prison or like I'm going to school. You know how in private schools they'd make us wear that.
yeah.
What school did you guys grow up in?
I went
Suffering.
to St. Mary's.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Man, I heard they were strict.
they were the worst.
90s.
man.
You went in the 90s?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, they were
In
strict.
the 90s. I started in the 90s.
Yeah, I knew someone who was Muslim who went to St. Mary's and she's
Yeah,
like,
we had a lot of
Wow.
Muslims
yeah,
there. Yeah,
weirdly enough, yeah.
and because they had Muslim class as well.
And they had the nuns with like, I think they still had the rulers. and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, like proper nuns until it became a little bit modern and then it was
Become
like
nunjitsus, nunjas.
No, but when we were younger, it was one of the most like not prominent, but like really good schools.
yeah. But you know the funny thing about St. Mary's, like you would expect like a Catholic school. Worst students in the world, man.
What?
Naughtiest kids, dude.
Really?
Naughtiest kids.
Was it
Example A.
mixed? I don't think Josh is naughty unless we
no,
haven't
but
seen
like
the
no,
naughty
no,
side.
but like really naughty, like bringing
Come home
alcohol
pregnant.
to school.
Wow.
Yeah, pregnant.
Wow.
Yeah,
In Dubai. That's
yeah.
crazy.
Pornographic material, everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's just from the teachers. Don't get me started on the kids. Were you in St. Mary's as well, Jenny?
No, I went to a Filipino school.
No way.
Yeah,
Can
in
you name-
Sharjah.
Oh, I'm
It's
so
called Far
sorry.
Eastern Private School.
Wow.
Yeah,
really?
Sorry.
Like
Yeah, 'cause
far,
Sharjah.
Sharjah.
Yeah.
And it's
I'm
Far
sorry.
Eastern.
I used to take an hour ride of bus every single morning.
my God.
To and then coming back.
But you
an
lived in
hour.
Dubai?
I lived in Deira.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so an hour.
Did you
I
sleep
was
on the
one of
bus?
the first. Yeah.
Oh,
I would just
that's the
sleep.
best.
Yeah, like I would get into the bus. I would take the back seat because I'm one of the first.
Yes.
Who get in?
Yeah.
And then I sleep.
And you'd realize Dubai is cold in those early mornings. Like you're shivering in the morning.
It is. Yeah.
You're like, how is this cold? Like
It is foggy,
foggy.
cold.
You're like, are we in the desert or is this like, why is this? Why am I in an igloo?
And we used to live right next to the police station. So in the morning, like they would do their drills. Like
No way.
I would hear like the sergeant or the main police
No
officer
way. Yeah.
start
Screaming.
shouting,
Whoa.
screaming. And then I
Amazing.
would see like the rest are just like, holding their rifles, whatever it is that they're holding, or batons or whatever
Yeah.
it is. And I'm like, why are they like just moving around as if they're not respecting the main officer? Because I used to do like it's called like ROTC in school. It's like a Filipino version of military
Military? Oh,
training,
okay, wow.
sort of. So they adopted.
They start
the
you
same
guys
thing.
young.
Exactly.
You thought
like
St. Mary's was bad.
And then they would train us. So like when you're on like in the line, whatever it's called, like you're not allowed to move. You're not allowed unless
Wow.
your name is called by the officer, whoever the leading sergeant is.
Yeah.
So to me, like seeing these police officers, I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like I always wanted to go there and be like, in school we're not allowed to move.
Damn.
You guys shouldn't be moving.
Damn.
But that was my alarm clock.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
Every time I would see them, because we had the bunk bed, so I was the one on the top. So I could always and it was overlooking the balcony. So I would always see them.
You lived
in the
like proper
morning.
military
Yeah.
with the bunk bed and then the
Exactly.
screaming guy and then the 1 hour bus ride.
Exactly.
Like, it was just like probably like writing letters to someone like, please wait for me.
Yeah.
I'll make it alive.
So it wasn't as crazy as
Damn.
what you
Yeah, I think
experienced,
I had
but
a relatively easier.
Would they be intense with you guys? They'd be like, Gagu, stay in line. Ay nako. Like, you're like,
With a mop and just hit you.
Yeah.
You know what? Some teachers are quite strict. Like they would have like a ruler, or they would.
Yeah.
I remember when I was like
Not
younger.
anymore.
Not anymore. Like it's not allowed. But I think back in the days,
Yeah.
90s kids, early 2000s, like
Yeah, well, you would see
strict.
the end of the slipper, right?
like now Gen
end of the
Zs would like
slipper. That's a good term. Don't make me show you the end of the slipper. I've only shown you the beginning. Like, wow,
oh no,
I don't want to see that.
and we would think it's normal because it's the same at home, right? Like our parents would reprimand us for doing things.
Were you hit as a child as well?
No, so I think what happened was, I don't know if my mom hit me once or because her threat was so scary. Like every time she threatened us, we were like, "Ugh, don't ever. She'd throw stuff.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
not
but
at
never-
you.
like your slippers.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
like a book or something. And I don't know if she intentionally missed, But after that, it's like, okay, don't want to piss her off ever.
Right.
You got scared.
And also because she was a single mom, I think it was like sort of like, who am I gonna have besides her? I need someone.
I already have half a parent. Like,
I had a nanny. I had a Filipino nanny. But I'm like, she can't defend herself against my mom. She'll get hit.
ROTC, what you need. She doesn't have those skills.
Exactly. So yeah, it was one time, and it's like she left a mark, not a physical mark, a mental mark.
Yeah. Like, I'm never gonna piss off this lady.
Were you guys beaten together, or was it?
Well,
Take me back to my childhood, Joshua.
I'm trying to think. My mom didn't like beat. Like she would like just like your mom. She would look at me and you know that look.
Yeah.
When it would just like send shivers down your spine.
I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
Exactly. And I would just be like, nope, I can't.
Straight to the heart.
I'm a middle child, so I'm the parent pleaser. So my elder sister was like the naughty child, and then I have a younger brother as well.
Usually
like,
the younger one is the naughty one.
Well, both of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, a little bit. So I was always like in the middle trying to be that parent pleaser in the middle. So I didn't get a lot of beating, but my mom had the tactic like if my sister did something bad or if my brother did something, we all got a beating. Or like we all got like reprimanding.
Kind
so
of
unfair.
unfair.
So I was just like, Mom, like
It's like a warning, you
like,
know?
why me? And I was just like, so I would always grow up with this like not hatred, but like I would always try to be kind so that I wouldn't get a beating, but then I would always have that
you had to
second
protect.
hand.
You had to protect. It's very military, by the way.
Yeah.
Because the military is sort of like everyone is in trouble. Because that's how it is. You're a team, right?
Yeah. So
she taught you guys teamwork.
Exactly.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. Thanks, Mom.
But they don't tell you this stuff. They're just like, why are you doing this? You'll know one day.
Exactly.
Like, what is it? And then it's a podcast with me. It was teamwork.
Did you ever do military training?
Yeah, I did.
Oh yeah.
Ask me about it.
You guys are required.
Yeah. Ask me,
bro.
bro.
How was it?
Great. No further questions.
I asked Abz at the beginning of the podcast, is there anything off limits? I think he said something he said, no, I can talk about everything. I'm like,
you're welcome, by the way, guys. You're welcome that we're keeping you guys safe.
Is it 2 years required? 2 years?
No, it was initially when they first announced it was 9 months, and then they extended it. So I did the 1 year sort of thing. Yeah, I loved it.
I have a half Filipino, half Emirati family friend.
And he did it?
And he did it.
Yeah.
And he was telling me all about it. My mom's best friend's son.
Yeah. You say you meet people like you would never imagine.
Yeah.
Like you guys thought we were unique. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
You go there, you're like, wow, Norwegian Emirati, how did this happen? My father loved salmon, and next thing he decided I want to marry. Yeah, he liked that show Vikings, wallah, and then he went. He found one Viking, but it's like, why do you have the Emirati accent if you grew up in Norway? I don't know. I'm trying to fit in. But really, I speak Flugendorf and Darfendorf.
But you grew up somewhere else, or you studied somewhere else?
No, I grew up in Dubai.
Okay.
Yeah, born and raised in Dubai.
Okay.
Oh, you're a Dubai Emirati. I thought you were in Abu Dhabi Emirati.
What, bro? First Bahraini, now this shots fired.
Who are you?
I thought we were gonna.
Here today? I
thought we were gonna diss Anand together. Now you're dissing me, bro. I gotta start a podcast with Anand this year.
Wait, is there a difference between a Dubai and Abu Dhabi?
No, there isn't.
Okay.
It's such a tiny country. There's no difference.
Yeah,
but it's like, I don't know. Maybe in Philippines, it's like, oh, they're from Pangasinan. It's like they love
How the
drugs.
hell do you know
I don't
Pangasinan?
know. I know Pangasinan. And, he's from Cebu or whatever. Like there must be some certain stereotypes of every part.
Yeah,
That's
from
true.
each part.
It's the same thing here, And I don't know if they're true or not, but it's like, oh, he's from Dubai.
Right.
Come to Dubai, Habibi.
Or Dubai, the more spoiled Emiratis, or Abu Dhabi, since they're in the capital.
I don't think. It's weird. I can't say who's spoiled. It's really a family. This is the thing I've been trying to tell people about Emiratis. I only recently realized is, let's say you're in a neighborhood and there's two houses right next to each other. This house, I don't know if this house.
I'm just checking your time. Don't worry.
This house will have a completely different upbringing, and they're neighbors to this house. Forget about neighbors. The same family. Like you'll have families. It'll be like, let's say my mom's family, for example. Like my mom wears the hijab. There's certain people in her family that don't wear the hijab, and it's completely fine.
Right.
But there's certain people in her part of the family that the family must wear hijab, and it's just a different. Even though they had the same grandparents, It's just a different upbringing. So you can't say who's spoiled or not. It's actually just a family and a responsibility, I guess.
True. Do you think each family would judge one another because of the differences? Like, for example, let's say your mom didn't wear a hijabi, or like her family members didn't wear a hijab.
Yeah.
Would they be judged for that?
I mean, I think our family is very, like, I don't want to say liberal because it's weird. I think we're in the middle.
Right.
So the strict people will think we're too liberal, and then the liberal people will think we're too strict. But we're in the middle, and we understand it's our life. It's not us to control their life. It's like, you want to wear hijab? Fine, cool. I mean, if I had a sister, and I'm saying this now, people are like, you don't have a sister, so you can't say this. But if I had a sister and she doesn't want to wear hijab, it's fine, whatever.
Right.
She wants to date someone, go ahead, as long as like she's not stupid. It's the thing that comes back is don't be stupid. That was what was the thing at home.
Right.
Just don't be stupid.
From your mom.
Yeah. I don't think she said that, but it's sort of indicated like
The way
have
that she
common
disciplined
sense.
you. Yeah.
And don't come back with someone who's pregnant or something, you know what I mean?
And
I'm not talking on behalf of all Emiratis, by the way.
I was just gonna say, because you said you're in the like sort of in the middle, so I perceive you as not a stereotypical Emirati, because when you think of an Emirati growing up in Dubai,
Karak,
usually
Cheetos.
or
Omani chips.
Yeah.
Inside
not
a
just
sandwich.
that. It's sad to say, but sometimes
They put their leg up like this.
Yeah, there's this like I would say like a little bit of a negative side from like being a little bit cocky or being
Entitled.
No,
That's
the
I
word.
agree.
Yeah.
We don't. It's weird, right? This is my theory, right? So we're in the UAE. This is our home country. We're a minority. But also, if you think about it, what is a country's or a government's job to do? Is nationalistically speaking, they should take care of their people first.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yes.
That's the ideal scenario. And also take care of its guests.
Yes.
Which it's doing. But obviously, the locals have a bit of a preference. Now, I see it as like, it makes sense, but also I'm like, it breeds being spoiled, which I don't like that. You don't want like, what is it? There's that saying, it's this adversity introduces man to himself. And if you're just living an easy life,
Right.
you're not gonna like know. If you think about it, like define an Emirati. Like those types. You
Exactly.
know?
Yeah.
I can easily
That's
just tell
the
you, fancy car.
Yes.
They drive all the same types of cars, but different color because I want to be different. And license plate is different, but it's unique. Unique license plate. But we all drive Mercedes because we like Mercedes. But mine different because mine is crayon green. Like no one wants a crayon green Mercedes, bro. So it's an interesting theory to dive deep into, and I think it's one of those things that we can end up talking forever. Really.
Yeah. But I understand their mindset as well because they are a minority in their own country. So of course, like they want to get the best of everything at least and make sure that
that's another reason why we get the best of everything is because we are a minority.
Yeah.
If we were too many people, there wouldn't be enough.
Yeah, it'll be just like
benefits.
Okay.
It'll be normal.
Yeah.
Or like if people got the citizenship, like I'm sure there's other countries around the world where they're like America and stuff. God knows what they would when they were giving away citizenship. They're just like, here you go. Here's free farmland. Or I don't know why that speaker was in the Twitter. Here you go. extra.
Texas. It's like,
here's some free farmland. But like in the Philippines, do you feel like, I don't know, like how do you guys feel like living here and then seeing stuff from an outsider's point of view in the Philippines?
Very good question.
Yeah.
Because every time I go back to Philippines, I feel like I'm a stranger in my own land.
Yeah.
It's like, do I really belong here? But the Philippines, I love going to Philippines because I feel very welcome. And it's unfair, but I get like the better end of the stick. Is that a saying? Like,
We're privileged.
Yeah, we're privileged.
You
Like,
get the end of the slipper. You get the beginning. You get the front of the slipper. The comfy part.
no, but like there, I just traveled and like what the Uber equivalent in the Philippines called Grab. Like, and I see people in like stuffed inside a bus and like or people walking and like cramped into the metro.
Yeah.
And I'm like sitting in an air conditioned house. Like literally every room has an air conditioning. But my mom said that growing up she didn't even know what an air conditioning was. So it's like yeah, now since we have the Dubai money in Philippines, that's why we're thriving.
Dubai money.
Yeah.
But what about in India?
India, it's
Do you feel or you never really associated with it?
No, I've been to India. I feel at home there as well, but it's just I cannot. since I don't know any Indian language, that's the reason why I like have a disadvantage over there. Like
But you speak Tagalog.
I speak Tagalog.
Oh wow, you actually don't know Hindi.
I don't know any Indian
That's
language.
crazy. Growing up in Dubai as well.
Yeah, because
man.
my dad is from Goa, so
Ah.
so he never like really spoke Hindi a lot, even if he knows it.
What would they speak in Goa?
Konkani.
Oh, you're lost, bro.
Yeah.
Or Portuguese.
He doesn't know Portuguese though.
What about you, Janine? Like, do you feel like living here, you're like as they would say, third culture kid?
Yeah.
It's like-
Very much so. Like,
Yeah?
I do feel very privileged, but I think what helped me is going to the Philippines and studying there for like 4 years.
Oh, did you study there for 4 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
So growing up here, like you don't get exposed to a lot of things. You don't get exposed to
Really?
a lot of, I would say,
Hardship.
extremities.
Yeah.
Which
True.
is because you're just in the middle. I
Yeah.
say it that I grew up in a bubble, like a safe
Yeah.
shelter.
100%.
And then getting to the Philippines, it was just like, what is this?
Yeah.
So to me, like being exposed to that for 4 years really helped me because I got to see things that I would never have experienced or never saw if I continued studying here.
Yeah. Or if you had probably gone somewhere else, like
Exactly.
Lebanon. Or,
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
anywhere else.
What about like
Europe.
when you go to Lebanon?
I like Lebanon, but it's not home for me because I grew up here in a Filipino school. My mom was always around. My dad was usually at work, like he was very busy. My dad used to work 2 jobs because
Wow.
3 kids.
Is your dad black? I'm kidding. Sorry, we're gonna cut that out. Too soon? Anyways.
So it wasn't like we got a lot of like screen time with my dad, like face-to-face time. So I felt that I was growing up more with the Filipino culture being embedded in me.
Wow.
So, but I did think that, I knew being a Filipino, but then I went to the Philippines and I was completely wrong. Like, it was
Oh, they're like,
very,
we'll show you
very
what a
different.
Filipino is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
wow.
I
Eat
didn't-
balut. You're like, I don't know.
I liked it though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever
Not
had
the
it?
chick,
No,
though.
thank you,
No,
bro.
not
I
the
joke
bird,
around
though.
at work. I'm like telling the nurses, I'm like, balut. How do you know, doctor? You want? I'm like,
Doctor, okay,
Yeah.
calm down, dude.
I'm like, no, I'm like, listen, I don't want any balut. I'm worried. I like pancit.
Okay.
is good,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
My mom cooks a mean pancit.
Pancit, yeah.
So
Yeah,
If you,
Nan used to make
next time we
some.
have you and everyone else over.
Oh,
then
thanks,
we'll-
bro. Just
we'll make
invite
sure
the whole
that-
place. I love
Yeah.
Dampa, right, Anand?
Dampa.
No, I've never been actually.
What?
Okay,
I've-
we need to bring you.
Yeah,
We need to
I
bring
went.
you.
I'll tell you what. So I went to. What is it called? There's something called Off the Bucket or something.
Off the
which
Hook?
is
Off the
yeah, it's a
Hook.
copy of
Yeah.
Dampa.
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
all know.
Yeah.
So I had that. I'm like, this is cool. And then they're like, yeah, there's something called Dampa, which is like it. And I was like, sweet. So I take my brother and I go with my friend Fahad. And my brother's like, I don't eat any seafood unless it's like cooked fish, like fish fillet. I'm like, and we go there, like, we're all out of fish fillet. And it's like, let's go somewhere else. I was like, this close. I wanted the heart.
Yeah.
And I wanted to relive
They-
that story that Anand had. And just be like, is someone crying? Is someone crying? Yeah, they're
They
crying.
actually do that. Well, maybe you can find the girl and then go to Dampa. with
Yeah,
her.
maybe that's a good
Yeah.
idea. But I hear good things. I'm down. Like, I like.
It's
You were
really
planning
good.
something, remember, for iftar?
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
yeah,
but then
didn't
it
work.
didn't
Yeah,
work out
that's
because
okay.
a lot of people couldn't.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. That was very thoughtful of you guys as well for inviting me, even though I wasn't a guest yet. But
Because you were our next guest.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're on the
Basically,
list.
yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to do it again.
But
Yeah.
okay, so when now talking about like half being halfies, right? Because there's a term here that they use with the half Emiratis. It's called hybrid.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Like
whenever
a car?
yeah, like a car, yeah, or like a halfie. So sometimes I'd meet people and I'm like, this guy thinks or this girl thinks like me, or almost like a Westerner, and I'd just be like, blah blah. Are you a hybrid? And then they take them a second and they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, it's a secret code thing. So do you guys feel like you meet someone similar, like in your situation, like for example, like a half Lebanese, half Filipino, and then you guys are like, oh my god, did you grow up doing this? And
Yeah.
oh, okay, so it's
Yeah,
the same.
this is why we do this, because it's so interesting whenever we have a half guest. Like I feel like there's always that connection.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, do you feel this way too? Or
Yeah. Did
when
you
you're-
feel left out?
Yeah, I think we all did.
Like
growing up.
we had Fahad, the Emirati boxer, Filipino Emirati
Yeah,
boxer.
yeah.
And he has the funniest story of how his parents met. Like they met at a Golden Fork.
No way.
And that's
Golden
the most
Fork.
Dubai
Oh,
story.
Yes.
ever. Like
Yeah,
the mom
90s
was,
Dubai. She's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
she
90s
probably
Dubai,
ordered the
exactly.
sizzling steak or something.
Exactly, and that seafood soup, and it was the
yeah.
most Dubai story because the mom was
waitress?
a waitress, and
Like
the
Golden
father
Ford?
was
No way.
an
Was
Emirati.
just
He
hungry.
just fell in love. Yeah, and
It's
he's just, and I'm just like, this is the most Dubai story.
It's
So
like,
it's
I
like
ordered
so-
my main, but I'll have dessert with. Sorry if I love the guy, but I don't know if that's the case. Damn.
Yeah, so that was so like we really like having these conversations because it's super unique and it's.
But do you feel like, because, okay, for example, Fahad is half Emirati, half Filipino. Do you
Yeah.
feel like, oh, he doesn't get me because I'm actually half Lebanese, half Filipino, or I'm half Filipino? Or you guys are like, hey, I know the struggle.
Yeah, I
It
think
connects
I think,
us. The
yeah.
I think
Philippines
there's an
connect us.
unspoken bond between all of us, like
Yeah.
because they were, and it's us. It's even more evident because we were raised in a country which is not either like my parents' country or my mom's country.
But no one would bully you in school about it, right?
Um,
They wouldn't be like, you have Filipino Indian, because like,
No, not really. No,
Yeah.
mostly at work, but
At
but like
work,
it's
really?
like the colleagues, we're just like roasting each other.
oh yeah,
From
it's-
an
Oh,
Indian
Josh, how
side,
did you
you
get to work
mean?
today? Did you take the McDonald's motorcycle? Like, so it's like
God.
all those kind of
That's
stuff.
some
So
good
like,
stuff.
yeah. So
Oh,
I,
interesting.
But I didn't face any real racism. I think mostly from Filipinos who would talk behind my back.
Hmm.
I did experience like once or twice, like they not knowing that I speak the language, and then when
Oh,
I surprised
wow.
them, like, "Oh, you're Filipino," but they said it in Tagalog, which is
Yeah.
Filipino ka pala, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'm Filipino," and then that was not nice.
You should have just looked at them like, I'm Filipino. And I'm like the Italian mafia. Filipino. You want to be
Don
sleeping with the
Don-
Dampas? You want to be on Dampas next menu?
Because you look at Josh, he like, and
He's
you
got a
wouldn't
universal
think,
face.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
wouldn't think that he's
Yeah, and
like,
I have a
half
neutral
Filipino.
accent, so
Yeah, actually you do.
I think from my end though, it was the other way around. Like you said, you were bullied a little bit, but I was praised for
Really?
being like
Wow.
white.
I was
mean,
going to say
not
you were
white.
probably bullied because the Arabs are ruthless, man.
No. Well, I think it's because I hung out more with the Filipino
Ah.
crew, and to them being half
Mm.
and looking more white
Mm.
than everyone else,
Mm.
I was always praised, especially when I went back to the Philippines.
But yeah, they
Wow.
praise you if the whiter you
gosh.
are. My
Oh,
God.
Oh
gosh.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's something I don't understand
Yes.
about Southeast Asian culture. It's like if you're brown, it's like even in
Yeah.
Malaysia they have that. It's like, but here they're like, I'm gonna get a tan, and then when you're white, I want to get a tan,
Exactly.
and then you're brown, they're like fair and lovely, just smush it
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
So to me, I didn't know what to do because my Lebanese side wanted to be tan, always.
Oh yeah.
But then my Filipino side
Going to
wanted to be
Beirut.
white. So I'm
Okay.
like, what am I going to do? But I felt that I was praised for being whiter than
Wow.
anyone else and growing up in Dubai. So I
Mm-hmm.
was always like, but the thing is, I didn't have a lot of friends when I was in university because everyone's like, oh, that's the Dubai girl. Or, oh,
Interesting.
she looks like she doesn't speak Tagalog. So let's not try
Wow.
to like, speak to her. So I only established a strong group of friends like towards my senior
Yeah.
like years, but early years everyone was like, oh my gosh, that's a girl who came from Dubai, and people were
Wow.
like, oh, let's not speak to her, oh,
She's
this
too cool.
and that.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, not really. And I would always get approached to be like, oh, do you want to be like the muse of like Miss this for the basketball team or
Wow.
this and that, just because I was whiter.
Damn.
And I was never interested in those type of things. I was like the nerd. I would go to school, get home, go to school, get home. But then for my sister, it was the other way around. She would always be in these pageants. She was like our Miss Town of, it was called
Wow.
Olongapo.
Wow.
So just like Pangasinan, she was the Miss Olongapo. I
Wow.
forgot which year, 2009, I think. So because we were half white-ish, like half Lebanese, we were praised
Wow.
for that. Yeah.
And when you were in the Philippines, would people be shocked when you'd speak Tagalog or something?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think I learned the language even more because of my 4 years in the Philippines. When I first arrived, like my Tagalog was okay,
Yeah.
but I didn't know like the slang words or like the deeper Tagalog. And then I learned everything else.
Do you feel like when you
stayed
speak,
there.
do you guys speak Tagalog to each other?
I try to,
I
but
try, but
She tries to test me
He's
once
broken.
in a while.
yeah.
Yeah,
he is.
I can speak it in emergency situations. I always say this, like if
You understand it more than speaking it.
yeah, I understand it more than speaking it, but I cannot read Tagalog for some reason because it's like words are like NG. I'm like, what's NG, man? Like NG.
Oh, but
explain.
it's written in Latin, like
Yes.
English.
yeah.
That shouldn't be too.
Yeah.
I have to read it
Gooey.
really slow, like really slow. Then I'm like, 1 hour later, I'm like, okay, I understand.
Watch the TV shows or something, man. They got nice shows. The music.
Yeah, but then
Movies.
see now the thing is in Philippines,
They have a lot of YouTube shows. I see like sometimes
Yeah.
the nurses, and it's like they're really angry. I think it's like the news or something. Like, bang, 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 bang. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, what the hell's going on? It's
I
like,
just like-
Do you
and
hear
then it's
them
on the
talking about BBM, like Bong Bong Marcos?
Maybe that's the one.
elections.
Yeah, it's the
yeah.
elections, yeah.
And then you just hear someone on the phone like, kumusta ka? Bang, 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 bang. Like, wow.
That escalated. quickly.
Usually, I know Filipinos to be calm people, very nice, timid
are,
people.
though.
They
They
are,
are,
but you
yeah.
know what? I know that one day there's
Yeah.
gonna be a Filipino who loses it,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be like
Yeah.
20 people killed by
There
the
was
most
actually
peaceful
something like that
Filipino
in,
because
Remember in Manila when there was this
you guys are too nice. It bottles up. It's just like
Keep everything
this
in.
guy literally
Yeah.
shot a busload of people. I can't remember the full story, but he was a police who got made
Oh, I think I read about
redundant,
this.
and then there was
yes.
a very big thing, and like he took
Yeah.
over.
It was a
Manila.
bus full of
Yeah.
Koreans.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
Korean
he's
tourists,
so
yeah.
nice. He's nice. He's like, I'm not gonna kill my people.
Yeah, he'll kill.
Not my
I'll kill
kabayans.
anyone else except the
Yeah.
Filipinos.
Damn, you white-looking Asians. Thank God you weren't on that bus. I'd be like, so-
But I saw the area 2 days after. It was quite sad actually. There was still
Yeah.
like
oh
blood
man,
around
oh
and all
horrible.
that. Yeah, we had an excursion because I was like 3 hours away from Manila. So 2 days after, we had an excursion to see these national places, and one of those national places was actually very close to where that happened. So we
Wow.
got to see the whole thing. They closed it off, but you could literally see shards.
Oh my
So I was like,
God.
okay, this is.
Which blows my mind, by the
yeah.
way, because like you meet Filipinos like in Dubai. It's Filipino. There has to be someone who knows a Filipino.
Yeah.
We've all interacted with Filipino. We've all interacted with an Indian,
Yeah.
and then less likely maybe a Pakistani, and then very less likely an Emirati. But like when you meet Filipinos, it's like they're so nice,
Yeah.
and then you hear about Manila being dangerous, and you're like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
Maybe all the nice people moved. I don't know what happened.
I think
They're all
that's a
immigrant.
good theory, but perhaps
That's actually a very good
lot
theory.
of
I never
good
thought of it
people
like that.
actually left the country because
But that's what the Lebanese say as well about Lebanon. They're like, all the good people. Because I have Iraqi friends,
Yeah.
a lot of Iraqi friends, and they're like, Iraq used to be like this and blah, but all the good people left. And
Yeah.
and they're like,
because they're tired of their
A
country's
moment of
shit.
silence for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're tired of the country's shit. They're like, I'm done with this. I'll
Mm.
have a better life elsewhere.
it's hard for the change. I get it.
Yeah.
You have to look out for yourself and then your family. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Mm.
If it's the only way, then that's the only way.
That's
Yeah.
why we're all here. Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah.
Is that
I'm so happy.
why you left Dubai as well? You studied in New Zealand, right? You went to New Zealand.
Yeah, I
to
went to
study?
New Zealand because I got a scholarship. Thank God. Oh,
What?
man.
Really?
Yeah, I was
Wow.
so
That's nice.
I was so tough because single mom, right?
Yeah.
And then I graduated from school, and I'm like, I'll do dentistry. And I think the tuition fee at the time, Sharjah University, was like 40,000 a year.
It's really expensive.
That's considered cheap now compared to whatever.
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
actually considered cheap. My
Cheap.
sister did her bachelor for business for the same amount, and this is dentistry, so it was actually
this
quite
was
cheap.
2008, 9.
Uh huh.
Mm.
And then I still remember my mom like handing the check. I was like, how are you gonna afford this? She's like, don't worry. And I'm like, I'm worrying. I'm like 17. I'm like, I'm worrying. Because my dad was still alive, and he was still like part of our life. Like we'd be in touch, but he wouldn't finance anything. So I'm like, my mom has to do this. My mom's a teacher. Teacher's salary sucks.
Right.
And then I was like, I'll apply for a scholarship. So I remember I applied to Australia, and they give you 2 choices. So I was like, Australia dentistry and then Australia biotechnology. Because I had friends in Australia.
Mm.
Thank God I didn't go to Australia. So what happened was I get rejected, go to Sharjah University, start a month, and then I get a message saying, you have an interview for University of Otago. So it sounds, now I'm calling the Ministry of Education. I'm like, hi, I have an interview with the University of Odango. They're like, you mean Otago? I'm like, yeah, whatever, Bangladesh. Just take me, whatever you're paying. And I didn't even know where it was. I thought it was in Africa. It was like Odango. I was like, Otago sounds like African. Hey, I am Otago. You know, I was like, okay, King Otago, nice to meet you, whatever. And then they're like, yeah, you have to come to Abu Dhabi, do the interview, did the thing. And then at the interview, they're like, we've accepted you. We just have to see if the scholarship accepts you.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, cool. And at this time, I'm still thinking New Zealand's in Australia. Sorry, my Kiwi fauna. Sorry, bros. And then I remember I was in uni. I got a message. It's like, congratulations, you've been accepted. I was like, I wanted to kick the bins. I was like, screw you, I'm leaving this place. I don't need. I was so happy. And I remember, like my mom one night, she's like, why are you so excited to go abroad? I was like, because it's free education.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, so you're only going for the money? I'm like, yeah. She's like, I'm going to cancel the scholarship. I was like, no, it's experience and education's better. And
Exchange of cultures.
yes, I need to practice English. My English not was very good this before.
So it wasn't about the experience. Like, you weren't thinking about that. It wasn't like you were
No.
itching to get out of
No,
Dubai.
I love Dubai. I
Okay.
had so many good friends, and like every day there was something to do. It was just like, okay, it's free education. I wouldn't have gotten free dental education in the U.S. I could have studied other things for free, but I'm like, I want to do dentistry. So I was like, screw it, I'll go. And then I look at the flight, 18 hours. I'm like, what the hell did I get myself into?
Uh-huh.
It's far.
It's far. And
Yeah.
at that time, you had to stop over Australia. I remember I went like, I arrived in New Zealand. I was like, I just arrived in New Zealand. Mom was like, you just arrived? It's like, we had breakfast, we had lunch, we had dinner, we slept, we woke up, had breakfast, and you
just had a
just
nap.
made it. I'm like, yeah. And
What?
then I got randomly searched for the first time in my life as well.
Oh, no
It was
way.
very weird. Well, I was wearing a turtleneck and a sweater and a puffer jacket in summer because their seasons are different.
Yeah.
And the guy comes in, he's like, just step this way, please. I was like, yeah. And he's like, I just have a few questions. He's like, where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. What does your dad do? What does your mom do? Are you guys Sunni or Shia? I'm like, how do you know this stuff, bro? You're in New Zealand. It's like, are you Catholic or Protestant, basically? Like,
Yeah.
as a Muslim.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and then he's like, do you have any illegal stuff on your computer? I was like, no. He's like, do you have any pornography? I was like, no. And I say this as a joke. It didn't happen. But I was like, I thought he would be like, do you have any homosexual pornography? Like, hey, you hitting on me, dude? No. But he didn't. That was my fantasy. I wish he said that. No, but that was first time I got randomly searched. 17, first time I travel on my own.
Uh-huh.
So imagine 18 hours. You're like, I can't wait. And there was still another domestic flight. I can't wait to just pick up a payphone. It was back in those days where they had payphones.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
I'm here.
A landline.
Putting like a quarter every like 5
Yeah,
seconds.
you're like,
for
what is this
international
stupid
calls.
currency? Why don't they use dirhams?
Did they search your bag?
No, they didn't. And he
Okay.
just let me go.
It was a full scholarship?
Yeah, thank God. bro.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
got a
By the
salary.
university or?
No, by the UAE government, the Ministry of
Nice.
Higher Education. God bless them. Thank you so much.
Wow.
And thank you, Baba Zayed. God rest his soul. Back in
Yes.
those days, yeah. So, but it was full. They gave you a salary. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
they
So you
paid
got
for
some
it.
allowances.
Yeah, and like a return ticket back home. But you know what's? Again, this is because we're a minority.
Right.
I know, and God forbid, I hope this doesn't happen. But like in the future, it may not be the same situation if we're like
Yeah.
more. So
Mm.
it is what it is, right?
Yeah, you guys are really blessed. It's actually really cool. Like, imagine like
Well,
go to university for.
it's easier
Yeah.
to live in the past, right? Like like you know how people are telling us go buy a house, and we're like, you don't understand. It's too expensive to buy a house.
Right,
And our
right,
parents
right,
don't get that. But in New Zealand, I remember our professors would come. They'd be like, you guys, your fees are subsidized. The domestic students would pay 11,000 New Zealand dollars. The international paid $70,000. They paid 7 times the price. And then they're like, our professor's like, I got 4 degrees for free. It's like back in the 60s, you could study university
Yeah.
for free. It's like the government paid for my education. So this is the thing. Now I have a scholarship. Who knows what the future generation is? We're living in a nice apartment. We're not living. I'm not living here.
You're welcome,
Oh,
Abz.
thank you so much. I'm just gonna move in here.
What's in that duffel bag behind you? The clothes and everything.
Gifts. But
It's crazy to think that way that you guys got free education and like people in the States are still in debt because of their.
it's
student
so
loans.
weird.
Yeah.
And you know what's weird as well, Janine, is there's some people who they're eligible,
Yeah.
they're accepted, but their families don't want them to go.
Oh.
There's so many like not weird barriers. There's different barriers. I've met so many people that like, I wanted to study abroad, especially women.
Yeah.
And they're like, I wanted to study abroad. Smart, intelligent women, and their parents are like, no,
Yeah.
you can't go abroad because you'll be alone. It's like, okay, you got to discover yourself. Like,
Yeah.
and this is the thing. It's our culture, right? A woman is tied to her man. It's
Yes.
tied to her honor. And blah, blah, blah.
Tied to the family. Yeah.
But
Well, just like me, wasn't able to go to Manila because my dad didn't want to.
wow,
then my
but the
brother-
Lebanese,
My brother, it was okay.
But you could go
Because
to
he-
Lebanon.
Yeah, but I could go to Lebanon.
And you can live in Dubai,
yes.
which no one knows what's
Yes.
going on. Did you have a curfew growing up?
Yeah.
No way.
9 p.m.
No
I had to
way.
be at home.
Wow, I thought the Lebanese were really like
My dad
cool.
is not the typical Lebanese.
Okay.
Yeah, like
not
super,
like
super strict.
chain and not that like
No.
okay. He doesn't make random grumbling noises.
All of a sudden, it's like,
Yeah, like
He
are you
left
starting an engine?
Lebanon really early
Okay.
in his age. Like he was 19.
Wow.
He left Lebanon for
Dubai?
Dubai.
Wow.
So he was a drummer. He came here
Whoa.
at 19.
What
Yes,
the hell?
Yes. He met my mom at a hotel.
Okay, Golden
where he was
Fork.
playing. Probably close to a Golden
Yeah,
Fork because it was in
probably.
Dera.
No way.
And my mom was a waitress, and that's how they met. So
Wow.
he was exposed to the club bar life early
Oh,
on.
okay.
And so he got really protective over us. So
Is
I
that
think
why you're attracted to Joshua? Because he's sort of into the comedy nightclub. You're like, oh my god, he's just
we actually
like,
met at the comedy at a
Baba.
comedy show. So.
Really? Which
Sort
show?
of. It was a kicker show.
Man, Kickers is the best
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
So many stories. Just love happens.
Seriously,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I see. That's the first time I see the most packed room with the best
The
energy.
was the
I
best.
see Emiratis sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
Emiratis sitting on the floor
in their
Yeah.
Kanduras.
in Kanduras
Yeah.
to watch a comedy show because
Yeah.
there were not enough chairs.
Yeah. I love. You've been to Kickers.
Yes.
I told Ima, I was like, I will rent that room off those guys. I'm happy. I will use my Emirati power.
Yes.
Those were the best nights of my life. I would go every Friday, even if I was not performing,
Yeah.
hoping if someone like dropped out, so I could get like even 3 minutes on stage.
Even if you want to go watch, you're like, and Ima was so accommodating. She's like, you want to do 3 minutes, Baba? Come. And you're
Exactly,
like, okay.
exactly.
And the
Yeah.
slew of 20 people.
Yeah.
Like,
she
it's
would
the comedy
she would
store.
honestly like see a group of Filipinos and she's like, Josh, do 3 minutes. I'm like, oh, I'm not in the lineup. She's like, no, but there are Filipinos there. Like, I'm like,
She was really,
Oh,
she's
she's
really nice. Yeah, man.
really groomed me to
And
that.
it's funny because I don't know if you know the story about Kickers. So Kickers, that room was actually Momo's room.
Yes, I did Momo's room.
Yeah,
as
I did
well.
that Momo's room, and I did it. I had a good set, and then I remember he's like, "Oh, that room sucks. Don't worry about it." I was like, "Okay, what a shame. Bye." And he was like, "Let me try." And I remember the first 3-4 nights it was like slow. It was just the comedians who'd come, and then it became a regular thing up until COVID. And I remember passing by Kickers when they stopped doing comedy. I had to pick up an ID for a friend, and some random guy's like, "Hey, what happened to the comedy shows?" Just some random guy. I was like, do you know me? He's like, yeah, you perform here every week. I always come. I was like, wow, there's regulars.
Yeah.
And that never happens in Dubai.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, we'll be back, man. He's like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I was like, me too. You know? And we didn't get paid, but who cares? It was fun. Like, it was a great place to try stuff. And
It was.
It had a different energy.
Yeah,
Hanging
it had a
out.
crazy energy. I don't know why.
everyone was happy.
Everyone
was in good form.
Yeah.
And then we'd hang out outside. I love the post. I never used to hang out after gigs, but because of Kickers, I'd hang out and like.
Kickers, we would be there till closing time. Like
Yeah.
the show would finish around, let's say 11, and like Abz would be there, Ima, Sahar, Anand.
Yeah. Nima would feed us pizza.
Yeah, Liz, like everyone
Yeah.
would just be eating pizza,
Yeah.
talking to everyone.
Yeah, I met people. I met so many people, and then I started developing this addiction of collecting people like Pokemon. And I would do these things. So I talk to someone, and I really am interested. But then I think I want to go hang out with the comedians, but I don't want to leave this guy. And then like someone would pass. So let's say Joshua passed. But like, Joshua, have you met Ali?
Yeah.
And I
I
just
think this has
bounced.
happened once. Actually, I'm talking to some guy. I'm like, why am I here?
It's because of Abz.
It's like WWE. Your turn, brother. Just-
You're it.
and then I jump around, and I didn't realize, but it actually increased my following. But that wasn't the reason. I just actually met people.
Yeah.
And I had interesting stories. I never met a girl. It's like I
was
never
gonna
a girl.
ask, did you ever
Never.
meet a girl?
So, this is my favorite kicker story, Janine. I love this story because I feel like I'm in LA or New York when I say this, without saying a name. So I do this. I think it was the roast battle, or I can't remember. It was the roast battle. There's so many things that started there. The roast battle, like
Yeah.
I gotta get to that.
Improv
when-
shows, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and after the show, Maher and Saif were like, come to Industrial by the West End. He's like, come to Industrial.
Mhm.
We're all there. And he's like, someone's asking for you. Some girl's asking for you. I'm like, whatever. I don't care. So I go, and then I'm like, the comedians are there. Seb was there back in the days when Seb was around. And like, oh, good to see you. They got like a little corner table, everything, drinks and stuff. And then Maher's like, yo, there's this girl. she's hot. She's looking for you. I'm like, really? Okay. All right. Well, let me see. It's like, and then
Where my Kandora wives?
I changed to Western clothes in case they're like, no Kandora. I'm like, listen, man, there's a girl inside. I'm a loser. Hey, please help me. So, and then I go in, and then she's like messaging on Instagram, are you here? All the comedians are here. I was like, okay. And she's private. So I meet her, and we're talking, and I was like, oh, cool. And like just chatting in a club. It's really loud. And then we're sitting at the table, and then we're just talking about stories. And I'm genuinely interested. I'm like, what's your story? How long have you been here? Tell me your story. And this was when I was single, in case someone is listening to my future spouse or whatever. I don't want to get shanked in the head. So I don't want to feel like I'm dead. But I remember I would like, yeah, there's flirting, right?
Yeah.
So I'd like, raise my hands. Okay. And she was like, I love this. She's like, oh, there's that subtle touch. I'm like, oh, okay. She embraces the awkwardness like a comedian would.
Okay.
And then she's telling me her story. And I'm like, cool. And we're laughing and stuff. And then she goes, I can't believe I'm talking to you. Like, honestly, you were the best comedian on that stage. I've been there so many times, 3 times or so. You were the best. And I was like, cool. So when can we meet again? And then she goes, but. I'm like, oh. It's like, but I'm in a relationship for 2 years. And it's a long distance one. I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever. And I just like get, and I remember what happened was, so we're sitting at the table. Some other comedian would walk in, and they'd shake my hand, and they'd whisper in my ear. They're like, congratulations. I'm like, and then by the 4th, congratulations. I'm like, it's not happening. It's a failed mission, abort.
Congratulate me.
And then Maher told me, he's like, and I remember, he's like, bro, if you don't hook up with her for us, we're gonna cry tonight. We're gonna rub one out for you. And then it gets crazier. So to me, this is when I felt like a comedian from LA, because they have wild stories.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I can't believe I'm gonna tell you this, but I was telling my friends, I was like, I actually considered leaving my boyfriend for you. I was like,
what?
I was like, whoa. I'm like,
do I know this girl?
No, you don't.
Okay.
She stopped coming to the shows and stuff, but
Because of Abz.
yeah, because I started telling the story. I didn't even mention it. Starts with it, no. But yeah, and to me, I was like, oh, now I feel like a proper comedian, because I have like these crazy wild stories, like, oh, remember that time in Kickers when we did this? Remember that time and whatever. So
it's a sad one though.
What?
Did she ever leave her boyfriend?
No. Surprisingly, she's still with her. Not surprisingly, I'm good on them. Like that's not hard. It's easy.
So how did it? And she said she told you like, okay, I actually told the girls that I might consider leaving my boyfriend.
Well, maybe she was tipsy or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
But then, what did you say after that?
I was like, man. I was like, no, I can't, because I've been on the opposite side. I was cheated on, so I was like, I never want to be on that side.
Right.
I don't want to be the side hoe.
Good on you.
So I was like, yeah, I can't. It actually causes me anxiety.
Yeah.
And like people are like, oh, he's just making. I start sweating. Like if someone is flirting with me. Yeah. And I know that they have a partner, or if I'm seeing someone and they're flirting with me, I'm like, ugh. I told my therapist one time, and he's like, you have 2 options. You either tell the world you're seeing someone, or you just ride the wave. I'm like, I hate this wave. It's very wet.
It's the wet wave.
It's painful.
That came from you being cheated on, right? Like,
I think it's that, and it's also like growing up in our culture, right? It's like, for some reason, women always get blamed. And not just the haram. Like I'm weird. I'm halal Muslim. I'm a halal haram Muslim. And like there's certain things to me like I have to abide by, and there's certain
right.
I'm just
right.
We're middle whatever the friggin'
like is. You find a balance between your morals and religion.
Right? You're human as well. Everyone has their vices, right? And like, thankfully, mine isn't something that's addictive, I guess. Maybe it is. But the thing is, like, in our culture, right, if something happens with a woman, or like involves a woman, and something happens, it's always a woman's fault. Yes. So I'm like, I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to be like,
good on you.
And I don't want to mess up like break a home. No, it's not even a home, but break like a relationship. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true. It's sadly, it's always the woman's fault if something happens.
Sometimes the woman, I will say sometimes it is. Like I got cheated on, and like I don't usually tell people, but it's like when it happens, they're like, oh, they don't want to know. It's like I got cheated on. They're like, oh, okay, I would have expected the other way. Me, no, just because I'm a guy who says a lot of dirty jokes on stage, I'm not that person on stage. So, but yeah, that was my crazy kicker story, and I still didn't get laid, but
Moral of the story.
I'm still
comedy
a
doesn't get
virgin.
you anywhere.
I don't think we've ever talked about this, but how did you get into comedy? Like, we should.
Yeah, maybe we can close on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how.
I
what's
wanted
your
to talk about how I loved you and roasted. Are you like my favorite comedian who's progressed? Really? Yeah, you are, because you and Yash, I've seen you guys like change, and Anand as well, to be honest. But top three, I would say you, Yash, and Anand. Like how you guys went upwards. Because I remember seeing you were like nervous on stage. I still remember you were like, I think you wrote stuff on your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got over that.
I would write stuff, but I have like
Sweaty
hyperhidrosis, so
No
my
way.
hands do sweat.
Damn.
So by the time I get on, it's like all smushed. I'm like, that's why I started bringing. I have my set on me every time, and both on my phone and a paper, just in case I cannot find one or the other. But so go before you continue.
Yeah. Anyways, I love your comedy. That's what I'm trying to say.
Thank
And
you.
you're a crazy roast battler.
Thank
But
you.
that was a huge shock. I was like, this guy's half Filipino. What is he gonna? He's too nice.
Easy
Easy.
target. Filipino.
Oh my
Indian,
god,
endless,
dude!
endless.
I watched one of the roast battles and kickers where you were doing Thai. Oh my, I'm crying. I don't know why you didn't use those jokes for the comedy festival. It's like, oh, give it up to Thai. He's my favorite rapper, Notorious HIV. I was crying. I was like, I can't believe it.
And that was when I won, and that was like my mic drop moment, though.
Yeah, it was good times.
But so going back to, remember in the beginning of the podcast, I said I met Abz because at the end of the show, it was the first time I ever saw Abz, and I'm like, this guy is hilarious.
Oh, thanks.
And I wanted to introduce myself to him, so I went up to Abz, and I don't know if you remember this, but we spoke, and I'm like, can you give me a tip on what a comedian should do when they're starting out? And
Probably
he
had
told
the dirty joke. I was like, I can give you the whole thing.
I can give you the whole thing.
I can give you the end of the slipper.
But Abs says like every time I get on stage, it's a different experience for me. Like I would be he said he told me a year, like how many years he's been doing this, and it's like, and every time it's completely different. So he's like, just ignore, like try to remove every time you go on stage that you'll get the same response even with the same jokes, and just be ready for everything. If you bomb, you bomb. If you do well, you do well, and just take it. And I remember that so clearly. I'm like, because that was also the first time I ever spoke to an Emirati. So
it's like, how is his English so good?
I'm like, give me good.
Listen, when you're on stage, you make go. You make go? How did you do 2 verbs, my guy? You make go this. What?
I have a picture from then. I actually put it on the podcast, like when we first
have
met.
it.
It's not just me and Abz. It's like me, Abz, and like Ty was there. I remember.
Just crop him out.
Just
cut him out.
Even if Abz and me are in the separate,
crop it.
I'll put him on top of me. It's like, how did he do that?
Oh
yeah,
man.
but you can say like, how did you get into? How was your start into comedy?
Man, I want to answer that, but then my ADD kicked in, and I'm like, I want to know how you guys met at the show, maybe after the podcast or something. But how I got into comedy, man, dude. So when I was 13, you guys grew up in Dubai, so you remember network cafes?
Yes.
You remember GNC? Do you know that place near Dera City
Network
Center?
Cafe? I don't know.
It's like where you go, you pay 5 dirhams or 7 dirhams, and you can use a computer for an hour, play
Yeah,
Counter-Strike, watch
yeah.
movies. So there was this one called Games Network Cafe near Dera City Center. And being, again, kind of like on limited finances, I'll be like, what can I do for a long time that's cheap? I would always go to Games Network. So one day I'm like, I'm tired of playing Counter-Strike. And then they had movies and anime, and I found the category saying comedy. Comedy? What's this? Click Dave Chappelle for Killing Them Softly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, holy damn, like you can go on stage and tell jokes, and it's Dave Chappelle. I'm like crying, and I was like, Eddie Murphy does, I thought he does movies.
Delirious.
Watch Eddie Murphy, Delirious, and like 144p or whatever the quality was. And I was like 13 at the time, so 2003. I was like, I want to do this. Couldn't do anything till like 2008, 9, because that's when the Axis of Evil came. Shout out to Jamil and Axis of Evil.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go see Jamil after this. But Jamil brought stand-up he used to work for Showtime. And he's like, let's bring these Arab American comedians here. Let's do a tour around the Middle East. He introduced Wan Ho Chang. He's the one who kind of like gave a step. And he had foresight. Jamil is an amazing person. He's my comedy guru.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know him well that time, but he brought the comedians, and then it's jump-started this Middle Eastern Bahrain suddenly had stand-up. Saudi Arabia suddenly had access, and the local comics would open for them. It wasn't so much here. So they had a competition in AUD, but it was only open to AUD students. And I was just going to go to New Zealand a couple of weeks later. So I go to the washroom. I'm not paying attention. I'm just washing my hands. And there's 3 guys. So me, someone, and someone. The guy on the far end goes, "Hey, Maz, love your stuff." And he's talking to Maz Jabrani. I'm
No
like, oh my
way.
God, it's Maz. I'm like, "Hey, Maz." And he's like, "Hey, brother." I'm like, "Listen, I really love your stuff." He's like, "Thank you." I was like, listen. I want to perform, but I can't because I'm not a student. Do you think I can do it? He's like, "I'll see with the other guys and I'll let you know." And then he goes up on stage and then I go to the bathroom again, not knowing. And then Maz is there coincidentally. I wasn't stalking him. Right, Maz?
He is really Joe from
Yeah.
you. Like,
What do
That's
you?
his 4th cup of water. He's gonna go to the toilet anytime now.
How many
It's like,
times do you need to pee, Maz Jabrani? And do you
help?
use the shatafa? I think I heard the spritz. You're better than this. And then I saw him and I was like, "Yo, what happened?" And he's like, so I spoke to the guys. There's a couple of comedians coming on. Yell my name when they're done. So I'm sitting there and then I go, "Maz!" And then he's like looking and he's like, "Oh, come." And I run backstage. I don't know what I had like 2 minutes. I can't even remember. I think I had a bit about Sesame Street. I tried to do like an impersonation. I'm talking about Starbucks. And then Jamil doesn't remember this, but Jamil's like, "All right, we're out of time." And I was like, "This guy cutting my time. What do you know?" And now I love this guy. And that's how I started stand up. And then for a year, there was nothing, even in New Zealand. And then came back here. There was this Dubai Shopping Festival in JBR, crazy enough, right next to the Hilton.
Mm-hmm.
They never built anything on that thing. It was a building and it was supposed to turn into a massage place. And
You would
then,
know.
yeah, I would know. No, because that's what they kept telling us. It was going to be a massage place. It was called They made something called Comedy Cafe.
Oh,
And,
okay.
yeah, and it's basically they got one comedian from the States who had Middle Eastern origin every week, and he'd do a show. So they had Maz Jabrani, Peter Persian, someone else, Mike
Ahmed.
Mike Bataya, and then they had Aaron Kader. And Aaron Kader, the week before his show, he's like, "I'm gonna do a workshop," and he's like, "Whoever wants to try and do stand up." So it was me, Maher, Nitin, and then like 7 other people. Yeah, so I started with Nitin, Maher, and then we just workshop our jokes. And then Aaron's like, "Okay, we're gonna do an amateur night before my night."
Nice.
So we did an amateur night, and then I had to leave because Iron Maiden was playing that night.
Oh,
So I
okay.
went to
Back,
Iron Maiden,
back. Yeah,
Dubai
I remember when
Media
they
City,
came. Yes,
Amphitheater,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
And then Aaron's like, "Hey, do you want to open for me tomorrow?" I was like, "Oh, sweet." Out of 12 people, he picked me and Nitin. He's like, to open for him. I was like, "Sweet." So I did that, and I was, man, the feeling is like better than a million orgasms, whatever you want to. I don't know what the best feeling is, but just for argument's sake. And then the next day I had to go to New Zealand, and I was like, and that was the story of my life. I'd kill in a place. People are like, "You're so great. How can we find you?" And this was before Insta's, Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm actually in New Zealand. Do so well in New Zealand. Be like, "When are we going to see you?" I'm actually going back to Dubai for 4 months. Back and forth for like 7 years. New Zealand, funnily enough, some student just put like a little post-it flyer. And it's like, "Looking to start a comedy scene, contact Catherine." So I was like, my doctor friend's like, "Hey, you might be interested in this." And I like contacted Catherine. And that's when I started wearing Kandoras on stage. I wore it in Dubai, but I started wearing it in New Zealand.
Nice.
And it's crazy because in New Zealand, they don't care.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Yeah.
You wear here, my own country, it's like,
Yeah.
you can't come in. It's like, what, bro? Like this, you shouldn't even be here, my guy.
Yeah.
Like, so that's how it started. And thankfully, it's been going well. I had a 2-year hiatus because I was in a crappy marriage, but that's
amazing. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I didn't know that was your
Yeah.
origin story.
my origin story. 2009, off for 2 years. I tell people on and off for 10 years because
Wow.
Yeah,
people are like,
yeah.
first Emirati, 10 years, you should be way better than this. I'm like, and then they're like you. They're like, "I can do better." And then they sign up. And then they take over, destroy us in roast battle. And then they get into the comedy festival.
Yes.
Look at you, man. And look at that. That's something you got to pat yourself on the back, bro.
Yeah.
Like you made it, what, in a span of what? Less than 5 years? 5 years or so?
I started 2018, but then I did it and then I stopped for months and then I did it
Yeah.
once and then
Yeah,
my anxiety shot up again. So
you
I'm
have a
like,
festival under your belt, man.
yeah.
And it's like a big festival. Not,
Yeah, actually,
not
yeah.
like you went to Pangasinan Comedy
Yeah.
Festival. They're like, the Rice Festival sponsored by comedy or something, you know?
And
No,
you
but-
can't even do the jokes in Tagalog. Probably that would be.
Is there a Tagalog comedy scene here? I hear there is.
I don't
like
know.
drag.
Here.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
is. Yes.
Drag,
Kita
there's a
Kids
lot.
has it. There's a comedy club in
There, probably.
Dera, Asiana Hotel called Makati Comedy Club,
Hmm.
and it is like a drag show.
Yeah,
But,
it's
I've never
hilarious.
been there. But I don't know how the room is. But
You should go, man. Check it out.
yeah, well,
Support it.
I've done an open mic in Manila,
No way.
and man, those comedians, they are hustling, dude.
Really?
Like, you know, like when we get off stage here, you're like either you to me or me to you, like, hey, that was good stuff, even if you know you bombed.
They don't care.
They're like, dude,
Wow.
you sucked. You have to rewrite that full joke.
Wow.
Like they're and they told me that they're like,
That's so anti-Filipino. I think
it is, but they're like, we're a very small community. We're like 20 open micers right now. Back then,
Mm.
and they're like, we cannot grow if we tell people they did a good job and they didn't.
That's a good theory, but like it's new there, isn't it?
So it always started with this whole drag thing. Like one guy, like a massive guy, would be wearing Dora the Explorer stuff on stage and like literally roasting people. That's
That
Manila
would- yeah,
comedy.
that's
And then
comedy.
there's now Stand Up Manila, which is like a organization there, which like multiple.
Do they tour around like Philippines?
Yeah,
and
they
stuff?
tour around.
Oh, that's
Philippines as
good.
well, yeah.
Okay, so
They have paid
they're-
shows. They have.
Oh, okay,
everything,
they're a
yeah,
step
ticketed
ahead
shows,
of us. Yeah.
But they're really dedicated to the art. Like,
See, the thing about the UAE, I heard, which is nice, or at least Dubai, is that the comedians actually hang out and know each other, and it's sort of like a community. And I think kickers help that. Like
Yes,
Ima,
yes.
shout
I
out to
agree.
Ima and Amr and stuff. In America, I don't know how it is. Like, I remember talking to some American comedian. I was like, I don't feel like you guys know. They're like, no, we know each other. We love each other. And it's like, that's what an LA comic would say.
Yeah.
mm.
You know, I'm like, I know Josh is seeing Janine, and I know you guys invite him to your house, you know, to Janine's house, not Josh. Josh doesn't live here yet.
Thank you.
All right.
Second time.
Yeah, second time. Just trying to protect you back.
Thanks.
You know those Lebanese.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, I don't smoke, but I'm putting out the cigarette on your neck today. You know? Now we rub it with zatar. You'll be fine. I love you. You're my son. I have to break your balls and then I will massage it. But that's the thing. Like, I like the community here. We know stuff about each other.
Yeah.
It's like a family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's new.
Mm.
And I don't think there's a lot of dramas, thankfully.
Yeah.
You know? That, it was very subtle there, Josh.
No, I've heard things, but then
Yeah,
I
but
don't
it's
want
not
to
bad,
get in.
like-
Yeah, it's not like
It's not like
what?
malicious.
He did what? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like he stole my room or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
or he's telling me not to perform it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like this stuff can be resolved,
yeah, like
you
he
know?
flashed me at 5 minutes and he
Yeah.
told me I could do 10 and like
dude. And like, if there's a new comic who wants to try, you think we'll be like, you don't know, like, get out of here. We'll be like, okay, like,
You guys
Right,
are
okay.
very welcoming.
yeah, because
Yeah.
we've all been there. And the nice thing about stand-up comedy is, honestly, you go anywhere around the world and you're like, I'm a stand-up comedian. It's like almost like you've downloaded their life. Almost, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I know the struggle you've been through.
yeah,
All the open mics. Oh my God, eating, bombing on stage. You know, any guy, whether it's in America, Manila, China, whatever. You know, New
Very
Zealand.
New Zealand, Kiwis.
Yeah,
It is difficult. I don't know how you guys do it, to be honest.
you should try it.
The other day she did one. She's like,
No
I don't-
way.
She's like, I think I should try it.
You're such a comedy
And if she-
connoisseur.
If she's better than me, I'm gonna kill myself.
Yeah. No. God. That's when she's like, you saw someone, you're like, I can do this better. And then she sees you, I can do this better. And then she destroys you and roast battle. You're like, oh my God. Yeah.
We do some roast battles.
Yeah, we do.
sometimes.
We
Yeah.
do roast each other
Yeah.
a lot, and I love it.
Yeah. And the nice thing about here is they do it in multiple languages. Like you have in Hindi, Desi,
Yes.
English. Arabic is, weirdly enough, it's the slowest growing one.
Are you doing Arabic?
I
stand-up?
used to, and then I stopped because I translated my jokes from English to Arabic. But now there's this female Emirati comedian,
Wow.
which is, my mind is blown. There used to be one called Shada, and then she moved to the UK. Weirdly enough, she's an Emirati woman, married a British guy, and then she moved to Britain. I was like, no, you're supposed to import them here. Not you, no,
Exactly.
don't export our women. And she used to do stand-up, but in English. She was cool. But then now there's this girl called Salama. I'm not going to say her full name because maybe she doesn't want it. But she does in Arabic with Iman and Mo. And she's like, I have a gig at Clavichord if you want to come. And she's quite funny in Arabic. So I watched her, and now I'm like getting inspired to maybe do Arabic. But it doesn't open as many doors as, you know, because there's a lot of restrictions.
Well, yeah.
Even like cussing out in Arabic. You speak a bit of Arabic?
A little bit.
Yeah,
But-
so you know the bad words in Arabic,
Yes.
they sound horrible
Yeah, they
compared
are.
to English.
But sometimes it becomes more funny because they do sound horrible.
Yeah.
Like they do sound very aggressive. So
Yeah.
when you say it in like a comical way, it does sound really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other issue is the dialect. Because Arabic,
True.
the way you study it in school is like Shakespearean Arabic. It's like, I'm not,
فصحى.
I'm not going to go on stage and be like, thou hast seen thy ladies on thy street recently? Like, because
They
people
still
like,
use in the news. I mean,
yeah,
that's
they
how
use that in the news and stuff.
Yeah.
For some reason, we'll accept that, and that's how you read it. But on stage,
You
you'll
can.
be like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, and then so if my audience is Lebanese and I'm speaking Emirati dialect, they may be lost in translation. So
Yeah.
that's what
Oh,
sucks.
okay.
That's the biggest issue with Arabic.
Or like if
Yeah,
an
so-
Egyptian, I wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to understand what
Definitely.
So Ima has a joke where she goes Hayati. Was that
Yeah.
the word?
Hayati, yeah.
Yeah, and I asked her what's Hayati, and she's like my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she said, oh, but in Lebanon we say what?
Hayati.
Hayati.
Yeah, so
but
I'm
it's with an accent. Wow.
Yeah.
Very good. Well done.
Her Arabic is flawless, by the way. She
Yeah.
said a little bit. I'm like liar. I'm like,
She even went,
Hayati.
this is my ASMR of Lebanon. Hayati. Like some guy on the other end.
But she switches
I'll buy.
accents like crazy, like Filipino to English to Arabic. It's like,
Dude, learn Hindi, bro.
man,
They
I
will
think it's too late.
so-
dude.
No,
Always
it's not.
ask him.
It's too late.
Let's do it
I
together.
can't even master English, man. I'm struggling with English. And
It'll open so many doors. You bought all this equipment. You know, you go to an electronic shop and you're like, hey, Kisai, buy. They're like, oh, yeah, Hindi. I'll give this.
Discount.
Yeah. Where are you from? Goa. I love Goa.
That's the thing. If you say Goa, they'll be like, no.
Yeah, maybe. Like,
Yeah. No.
you're white.
Yeah. You're not an Indian.
Yeah.
You're going.
But no, it hooks you up. Like, and like, you can end up going to India and doing like shows. Like, comedy in India is big.
Oh, it's massive.
And
Yeah.
like, there's no place in this world you won't go where you won't use Hindi. I wish we had like an Indian nanny or something. We had the Philippine. All I learned is like, "Kamusta ka, gago?" Oh, sige. Oh. What is an oh? Like it's like yes. Oh. Sige. And I know the sige is coming. It's like oh.
Sige.
And there's like 7 ohs. Oh. Gago. Sige.
You should stay and wait till my parents get here, my whole Filipino family, and just see how they interact. And be like, what are they speaking?
I wish I had the Kandora.
Kandora.
I wish I had the Kandora.
Oh,
I'd be
yeah.
like, Kamusta ka? Yeah.
Cool.
But thanks for being here. I
No,
know.
thank you,
I know
guys.
like time is running out, and
Yeah.
we would love to stay and talk. But
He's
thanks
just
for
kicking me
coming.
out, guys. No, I
No,
actually
no,
have.
I-
I have
I
a-
know that
part
you-
2. I want to hear more
yeah,
about that
we
marriage.
could-
Yeah,
We're gonna do a part two.
and we didn't get like I want to hear more about his upbringing.
I want to hear about you guys. I want to hear
And
about
the
you guys,
juicy
man.
stuff.
Let's do a round 2. Let's
Do that.
legit.
Yeah, we'll
Take
do
that,
a bonus
Anand.
episode on a paid content
Patreon.
channel.
Yeah.
Like a Patreon or
Yeah.
OnlyFans or
Yeah.
something, and then like
Yeah. Can I plug my stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
Only
So, I was
friends.
gonna say,
The halal version.
Yeah.
Only friends.
only
Only
acquaintance.
friend zone.
Yeah, where can all our audience members and everyone find you?
Basically, I'm just active on Instagram at IAMABZ or Z Ali ALI. So I am Abz Ali. I have to change it because every time I go to gigs, like follow me on Instagram. I am Abz Ali. They're like, I'm a Buzz. I'm like, or they're like. Dude, it's so frustrating because I wanted Abz Ali and I hit up the guy with Abz Ali. I'm like, bro, and it's just some brown guy in England. I was like, bro, come on, man, let me take it. He's like, no. I was like, I'll buy it off you. He's like, nah, bruv.
Nah,
It's like,
bruv.
but he's a good dude. Like, there's no beef. I'm like, how can I erase his?
So I'm on the same boat. I know we're supposed to end.
You're
but I'm on the
haha
same
Josh.
boat because I'm haha Josh with 2 H.
Yeah.
And there's another one who like 0 posts, 3 followers.
Annoying.
And I reported his account, and I went to my sister's. I
Yes.
reported his account. My
Yeah, I
mom's
wanted to
Instagram
report.
reported.
I wanted to
Still
report
there.
Abz Ali, but I was like, nah, I'm not that ruthless.
Yeah.
If you get a blue tick, I think you can sort of steal it.
Yeah, exactly. If you have the copyright or some documentation, you can
You just need
Instagram will
articles.
transfer to you, and then they will add like an underscore to the other person.
Oh,
or something
sweet.
like that,
Really?
yeah.
Wow. I love how they just
Yeah,
they
yeah.
short sell the other guy. Here's your underscore. What the But yeah, so I am Abz Ali and
Yeah, we'll put it in.
post my shows. I got a show tonight, but people aren't even going to be there.
Yeah, I think
Nuts.
this will be out on.
Yeah. I'm going to America, guys. Come find me in America.
Oh yeah, it's
When?
In Canada.
2
I'm
weeks,
going
yeah.
in 2 weeks. I'm going to Canada.
Nice.
And then I'm going to America. I'm doing yuck yucks. I don't know if I'm doing
Are
yuck
you
yucks.
doing
I wish.
shows there?
Yeah, I'm trying. So I'm
Okay.
hitting up the comedians and people
Nice.
I know there. So hopefully. And then I'm going Mexico, but I don't think they have a comedy scene in Mexico. They'll be like, look at this gringo. Let's shank it. This from Dubai? Hey, Dubai. I heard you in the podcast, Holmes. That's crazy. You guys have a scholarship?
You know what? We need to do the part 2 when he's back. 'Cause I
Yeah.
want to hear all about this.
America.
Yeah. America.
If I'm alive. Because I was going to go to Colombia and everyone's like, you're too white. I'll go Mexico.
Our next
Thank
episode
you,
will just
guys.
be like, this is a remembrance to Abz Ali. May
Yeah.
God rest
In
his
loving
soul.
memory. Thank you,
Like
guys.
in loving memory.
Alhamdulillah.
But thanks for being here.
No,
We had a
thank you,
real pleasure.
guys.
You have any other shows this week other than today?
So today, what is today? Saturday, I'm doing knocks for Natasha Nachat.
Today's Sunday.
Today's Sunday, bro.
Is today Sunday?
Today's
Sunday,
Sunday.
yeah.
And then Thursday, I'm doing Liz's gig at Philly's Fog.
Okay,
They have
awesome.
like a Simon, I think Bridges.
Yeah.
Dr. Simon as well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
2 doctors.
Yeah. This clash of the... He's a real doctor, though. I'm a dentist. He can save lives. And that's on Thursday at 8. And then Friday, I have a gig in Abu Dhabi, the 30-30 Club. But they didn't get a 30 comedian. So they're going to have 3 openers who are doing 10 minutes. Finally doing that.
Okay.
And then Saturday, we'll see. After this meeting, might have a gig. I'm getting my
Awesome.
phone call as well. So,
Okay.
anyways, thank you.
So
guys.
thanks everyone. You know what to
Salamat.
do. Support the
Salamat
podcast.
po.
Thanks for everything.
Yeah, shukran, Habibis and Habibtis.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for offering me tea and coffee. That was awesome, guys.